Welcome to SKNIS Perspectives, an interactive program of the St. Kitts and Nevis Information Service, aired weekly on this radio station.
Thousands will flock to the Warner Park Stadium between June 27 and 29, seizing the opportunity to witness and enjoy a world-class event.
They take pride in the fact that here in small little St. Kitts we can have such an international event to showcase to the entire world.
Today, Faron Lawrence, the chairman of the St. Kitts Music Festival Committee, joins us to review plans for the annual event, now in its 17th year. I'm Ian Richards. Stay with us for Perspectives. Thank you for joining us. The St. Kitts Music Festival is a few weeks away, and officials are busy finalizing plans to ensure the event lives up to the reputation it has established on the local, regional and international scene. Today we are joined by Faron Lawrence, the chairman of the St. Kitts Music Festival, who discusses a number of issues, including what fans can expect, as well as the potential that exists for local businesses.
Preparations are well underway. People often see me and ask me, how come you're so calm when it's an exciting time? And it's because of the volunteers and the committees that we have in place. These are people who understand what needs to be done when it needs to be done. So once music festival time comes around, these people just go into gear and everybody just to execute, basically. So plans are going well. Everything as of today are on schedule. And so I'm looking forward to another well-planned, well-executed music festival.
And of course, the lineup this year, which was announced earlier at the Music Festival media launch over at the St. Kitts Marriott Resort, it features a number of repeats, and there's been a lot of feedback via the acts scheduled to perform. What have you been hearing?
Yes, I've heard that in terms of the repeats, but sometimes we repeat, but it's because that artist is now popular again, have new tunes, has maybe won an award and now has a new buzz. So repeat happens all over the world at all festivals. You can't avoid that. Also, repeats comes as a result of availability, costs, and it's a bunch of different things that goes into the pot to determine what comes out at the end. But we have no apologies about repeats. We feel that the persons we're repeating still have a following, which is the key for our festival. And I constantly say to people, bear in mind what the purpose of the festival is. That's where you have to start from. So when you go and you criticize or you give advice, as the case may be, always bear in mind what the objective is. And that is, again, one of them, at least, is to attract artists who can attract international and regional media, come to St. Kitts and give the good story of St. Kitts out to the world, so that months after, years after, we have visitors coming into our shores spending money. That's what it's about.
Ultimately, of course, there's quite a number of persons who would have not have seen them perform. We have a high turnover, if you will, of students here studying for medicine, like at Ross University and at Windsor, and of course there are persons around the region who may not have had the opportunity to see them at this time, and also persons in St. Kitts and Nevis. So that is an opportunity for them to see them as well. Mr. Lawrence, what would you say are the three main factors in selecting artists?
Of course, cost. The dance has to pay for the light. You basically have to be able to afford them. Some artists we would love to have outside of the range that we can work with in terms of our budget. Number two is appeal, international and regional appeal. Will international and regional media personnel follow this artist? Because it goes further than that. What we're looking for, once they come with them, they're going to write about them in their magazine, on their TV program, and then that goes out to the world, and the world wants to know, well, what's going on in St. Kitts? Where's this place called St. Kitts? So that, again, is critically important to us. So it's the cost, it's the international appeal, and then, of course, we look for the appeal of the general public. Will this artist bring people out? Because at the end of the day, the general public's, the fee they pay to get in is part of what we use to pay the bills. And I say part because you would appreciate that there's no way we ever expect gate receipts to pay for a music festival. It just cannot happen. It's the subvention of the government along with the sponsorship dollars that we receive from some very generous sponsors.
The population essentially is too small to allow that to happen.
That is correct. Well, For it to happen, it means that $100 ticket price would now have to become $500. And I don't see us being able to do that.
Which is something I wanted to touch on a bit later. But in the meantime, let me ask you about the festival itself and the feedback that it generates. Of course, we realize that on its Facebook page, there are a number of interactive forums and polls that request input from fans asking which acts they would like to see perform at the St. Kitts Music Festival. How much does the opinion of fans play into the selection of artists?
That is critical, very critical. It goes into the mix with all the other things I spoke about. You asked before about the three main factors, and one I indicated was, will the general public come out to see these artists? Well, that feeds from the kind of suggestions we get on the Facebook page. So that kind of marry with what I spoke about before. If you are not listening to the public and taking that into consideration, you could end up with an artist where nobody comes. So that is, yes, that plays a big part in our decision-making process. But the way I termed it before was in terms of public appeal.
And so what would you say to the person who may have been suggesting for maybe all of these years that they would like to see a Beyonce or somebody like a Jay-Z perform?
What I would say to that person is not that we haven't been listening, and it's not that we haven't heard. It's just that they would have to understand that that's not the only criterion that we have to take into consideration. And so when we put the other things together, the costs, the logistics, the availability of the artist, the time for that particular artist just has not presented itself as yet. But you will still want them to keep bringing their suggestions. We are still open to them. So please do not be downhearted that the person you suggested wasn't on the lineup. It could come. We've been hearing about Lionel Richie now for 6-7 years. This year he's going to be here. 6-7 years ago we never thought we'd be able to, based on the circumstances that existed at that time. They have changed. So the point here is keep hoping, keep suggesting, and we will always keep listening.
Any comments that you'd like to share on the inclusion of the Collision Band to the roster?
The Collision Band inclusion came about primarily because of what we just spoke about, the input of the public. We had a large number of persons call and inquired, why not the Collision Band? Some did in ways that we wish they didn't, others in a very nice, polite way. But our committee is open. We stay wide open. We're not afraid to change our mind. We're not afraid to say, okay, maybe we got this one wrong, maybe this is the way we corrected it. We have no difficulty with that. So we take the information in. They're very popular. The local crowd wants to see them, and we feel we must listen to the people. And so we listened and we acted.
Well, no matter what is said, no one can deny that this is a collection of impressive and high quality and entertaining acts. Now, Mr. Lawrence, how is the committee able to continue to assemble a number of top performers, yet keep ticket prices affordable for the ordinary man and woman in St. Kitts and Nevis? We just spoke a bit about that.
Everybody keeps asking that question, even till now. I get that question continuously. And it comes down to one thing, which is quite simply the government's position that this event must be open to every ordinary citizen. The cost is what brings it within the reach of the ordinary citizen. And so the government subvention is really in order for us to keep the price where it is and let the small ordinary man be able to at least, even if not enjoy each and every night, but at least see one night and experience what is going on. That's one of the big reasons why we have been able to keep the price at $100. Also, we have companies like Lime, TDC, Tropical Shipping, Carry Brewery, the St. Kitts Port Authority. These are companies who are very generous with their support. They've been with us for years. They take pride in the professionalism that comes out through our festival. They take pride in the fact that here in small little St. Kitts we can have such an international event to showcase to the entire world, and so they continue to support the festival. All these are the factors that comes together to help us to put on such an international event at such a price that we can afford the ordinary man on the street to attend.
That actually is a question also that I wish to follow up on with you. Talk to us a bit about the sponsorship levels, because we are aware, of course, of the economic climate, not just in St. Kitts and Nevis, but in the region and, in fact, all around the world. How are the sponsorship levels?
I don't have the details here with me right now, but we have gold, silver, bronze. The main sponsor, which is over $100,000 is Lime. Then there's a $50,000 level. I think it's between 50 and 100,000, where we have companies like St. Kitts Nevis and Willand National Bank, Carry Brewery, Tropical Shipping, that would be in that mix. And then we have those that would be under 50 but above 25. So those are the various levels. And we have seen cases where someone who was at a lower level some years back come up to a different level. So that is indicative of the support that these entities are giving to the festival.
I recall that Minister Skerritt, who is the minister responsible for tourism, which the music festival falls under, encouraged more companies and entities to take advantage of the economic opportunities that the music festival offers. Have you been seeing that?
Yes, we have been seeing that, but we think there's a lot of room for improvement in that regard. We need to get the private sector to understand that this event is for them. We have a signature event that attracts people from around the world. What we want more than anything is for our local businesses to make money. That's what it's about. They make money, people get work, and so the economic spin-offs just keep growing. What I find is that, to my mind, enough private enterprises, especially small enterprises, don't go out of their way to see and create ways to take advantage of this huge event that we are having on the island. Many of them tend to be waiting for us to present them with something. That is not the proper way. Then you have others who are coming to us with ideas, saying, listen, for the event, can we do this, and can we use your name as music festival to attract? That's what we want to see, and that's what we are encouraging. And so once they do that, we can then say to them, okay, fine, you can use our name, but within this confine. And so I'm looking for more of that. Personally, I mean, that's what I would want to see.
We're continuing our discussion with the chairman of the St. Kitts Music Festival, Mr. Faron Lawrence. Now, Mr. Lawrence, the festival has not necessarily had its priority focused on generating a profit, but of course the committee has a mandate to find a healthy balance between costs and revenues. How would you categorize that balance today?
We have been doing well, particularly over the past 4 years. And for me, the success of the balancing act is gauged for me by, at the end of the festival, what do you have left? Do you still owe people and can't pay them? Or have you paid all your bills and have something for next year? I'm very happy to say over the last 4 years as the chairman, we have been able to finish the festival, pay all the bills, and have resources left in the account to help plan for the following year. So that's the balance for me from where I stand. And so we've been doing that extremely well. Of course, there's always room for improvement, and so we are continuing along that vein towards bettering what we did the year before and the year before that.
And of course, that is key in ensuring the continuance of the festival, because we know, of course, that a number of festivals would have sprung up in the region and would have fallen by the wayside.
Yes, that is absolutely correct. And also, we have to recognize resources are scarce. And so when the government would have put in $2 million, you don't want at the end of the festival to be going back to that same government to pay bills. And I have worked hard at improving efficiency, improving accountability, making sure that there is no wastage, just to ensure that at the end of the day, people get paid within the resources that were allocated to us and not having to go back to anyone to cover expenses.
Of course, I'll give you an opportunity now to speak to fans. What can we expect at this year's festival?
This year is just going to continue from the last 4 years. You may not see any discernible differences, and that is only because 4 years ago we developed a strategic plan essentially to move the festival to a different level. And we have been seeing the growth from year to year in every aspect. This year is just a continuation of that growth, on that plan getting executed. And so, while there's no discernible difference per se, they can expect a very entertaining 3 nights. I think we have selected artists that has good vibes. People know their songs. People are going to be able to go in. For the people who want to jump up and wave, the Thursday night is going to be just a ding-dong night. I mean, I think the fans are going to get their money's worth. I truly believe this is going to be the occasion where the local band get to shine and show who is really the top local band. And I suspect that's part of the reasons why so many persons wanted Collision Band to be included, because people feel they're now at the stage where they could compete with any other big bands. And so that is exciting. I am personally looking forward to that, as I'm pretty sure a lot of the other artists are. On Friday night, Shaggy, Berries, you can't beat that combination. Persons have come up to me and says, listen, if you bring Berries and Shaggy every week, I will come every week. They're just artists who have made their names by the material that they've been able to put out. So we are very confident that people will come out to see those artists. And then, of course, on Saturday night, we've all been waiting for Lionel Richie. Lionel Richie, to me, is like Air Supply. I remember listening to the Air Supply concert, and at one point, the singer stopped singing, and you would never know he stopped singing. People heard the tunes, and they sang their hearts out. I'm pretty certain that this is what we're going to get from Lionel Richie. People know his songs, he's been around, he has top hits. That's going to just be a fantastic night, and I would want to encourage all local fans to come out. You do not want to miss this historical event. It's going to be huge.
Any new features or highlights of the festival that you care to add? I know, for instance, that there is a VIP experience that is available to anyone.
Going back to the strategic plan that we had in place to move the festival to a different level, we started the whole VIP experience. There are persons who are not coming out to the event simply because they didn't want to be in the crowd. They wanted a nice lounge where they can sit and stand at their leisure and pleasure, have a drink, have something to eat, and are willing to pay for it. And so we decided to go that route by providing those kind of accommodations for those persons, and which has been extremely successful. We took the approach that in order for it to be done the way we would like to see it done, it must be done privately, through private enterprise, somebody who's going to operate it for profit. And I think that was very important. So, as you're aware, Express Events was given the contract to run that event, which has worked out extremely well. So much so that in the last 3 years, it was an effort between Express Events and the Music Festival. This year, I'm happy to say and report that the Music Festival is completely out of it, and it's a fully private event. So Express Events basically runs it. They're on their own. That's what you call growth. That's what you call growing to become independent. We helped it along. They have now matured to the point where they feel it's in demand sufficiently, it's sufficiently popular so that they can go it on their own. And that is absolutely a success story, both for the Music Festival and for Express Events. And I want to take this opportunity to congratulate Shannon Harley and Express Events, the main owners of that company, to say that job well done, and I'm very pleased to see they have come to the point of being independent and being able to run that facility on their own.
Any final comments that you'd like to leave us with?
Just to say, we have to keep reminding our people that what we have is a fantastic event here. We have a world-class event. St. Kitts has become known around the world by music festival. That has played a very important role in getting us known. The other detractors who are saying, scrap the festival, I would just want to say to them, let's have a discussion. I'm pretty sure in their minds they have reasons why they think it should be scrapped, but I'm willing to have a forum and sit down and talk to some of these people, because the country needs all of us, and all of us ought to be ambassadors for our country. And sometimes in order to make you an ambassador, it's important that you have the right information. And I'm prepared to sit down and give that right information, because I feel confident that the music festival is a good thing. It's a thing that we should continue. I see so many other countries trying to copy it or to follow in our footsteps and cannot get it. They tried it for 2 years, then have to scrap it. I mean, they're trying to get it started again. There's a reason for that. And the reason, quite simply, is economic development. So I just want to encourage our people to support the event, see it for what it is, and invite their friends and family throughout the world to come to St. Kitts for the 2013 St. Kitts Music Festival.
Chairman of the St. Kitts Music Festival, Faron Lawrence. For more information, be sure to visit the festival's official Facebook page. I'm Ian Richards.
We're pleased that you joined us for this edition of SKNIS Perspectives. Join us every week at this same time on this radio station.
This program is produced by the St. Kitts and Nevis Information Service.